Praise the sun and prepare to die. Alright, let's try that again. Praise the sun and prepare to... Will you just let me do the intro? Praise the sun and... Hello everyone and welcome back to Boss Battle. I'm Josh and I'm excited today because we get to dive into one of my favorite games of last generation, Dark Souls. I've been playing this game ever since it came out in 2011 and I honestly keep finding out new things about the lore, the gameplay mechanics, and the class strategies even today. This game is huge with so many hidden gems that the Dark Souls community out there is still very active even today. I first played Dark Souls on my Xbox 360 and I keep playing it even after I've cleared the game a handful of times. Acquired the elusive 1000 points for a gamer score, and even after disaster struck. Red Ring of Death! So after my Xbox became X-Death, I bought a PS3 and continue to enjoy Dark Souls without fear of that terrible menacing red eye returning. I see you! Now we all know that Dark Souls is punishing. It obviously demands patience from the player, and it rewards those who go slow and explore. This game reveals its true self to those who seek what lies hidden from the weak of heart.
You filthy casuals! Let go of my Dark Souls! The building blocks of fun! Waffles! Dark waffled souls!
Whoa, Aaron. Dark Souls is something for everyone. I'm just saying that those who go the extra mile in the game get rewarded with some great lore and other hidden treasures. You seem a little edgy today. Are you okay, little buddy?
Yeah, I think I'm just hungry, and I've been trapped in Sin's Fortress for days. Snake... Oh.
Dark Souls has layers, and that's what makes it so great. You can go the entire game basically not knowing anything about the story and just enjoy the gameplay. Or you can explore and discover new lore through discovered items and armor. Or you can stumble into huge hidden areas and bosses that you could have completely missed easily in previous playthroughs. And that brings us to our boss battle today with the Gaping Dragon. The Gaping Dragon is located in the depths, which is a place most players probably struggled through on their first playthrough of the game, but it's actually an area that never even has to be explored or even visited to beat the game.
Come on, Josh. So in episode 1 you do 3 bosses instead of 1, and now in episode 2 you do a boss that's skippable? Seriously, what's the show even about?
About bosses! A player who has deeper knowledge of Dark Souls than a first-timer can skip the depths entirely. But I picked Mr. Gapey because basically everyone is going to fight him during their first tour of Lord Ran. Dark Souls starts you, the chosen undead, being free from your cell in the Northern Undead Asylum by a helpful knight. You escape the undead prison with the help of the world's biggest crow, and you get dropped off at Firelink Shrine. Here you meet an undead known as the Crestfallen Warrior, who tells you that you must go ring the 2 bells of awakening. Some gargoyles on top of a church in the undead parish guard the first bell, and the second is guarded by a demon spider babe who lives next to a fiery poison-soaked hell swamp. I would say most players ring bell number 1 first and then move on to bell number 2, since this in my opinion is the easiest progression through the beginning portion of Dark Souls. Path number 1 brings you to Blighttown via the depths and to that demon spider babe, Kellogg? Kellogg. Does anyone know this lady's name? Path 2 lets us skip the depths altogether by picking the Master Key as the starting gift at the beginning of the game and getting to Blighttown via the Valley of the Drakes. We're going to chat about path number 1 since it brings us to our boss, and you can phone a friend or something for help on path number 2. Before you actually try and tackle the Gaping Dragon, there are a couple of things that I think we should try to cover to prepare. If you're interested in completing Kirk, the Knight of Thorns side quest, and collect his armor set, this is where you're going to first encounter him. Make sure you're in human form before fighting the Gaping Dragon, and walk down that path near the waterfall area, and Captain Kirk will beam into your game as a Black Phantom, set your weapons to kill, and send him packing. Do not pass 10 forward, do not collect $200, because the United Federation of Planets does not use cash anymore since they have formed a utopian society without greed. You should know this, Kirk! Another thing that's going to make this fight with Mr. Gapey easier is to make your way above the boss arena and kill the Channeler Bong that's hanging out there, so he won't buff the boss later on. He's got 3 big rat buddies, so be a little cautious about just running straight in, lest you become food for the Rat King's pests. Pets. Rats are pests too. And finally, right before you go through the fog gate to the boss, you can summon Solaire of Astora and or that shady character Lortrek of Kareem to assist you in this fight. You can only summon Lortrek, however, if you freed him from that prison cage in the Undead Parish earlier. Summoning NPCs or other players in your game does raise the boss's health a bit, but I think it's more beneficial to have the help than the boss health boost really hurts. With that being said, if you only summon Lortrek and Solaire, don't expect these guys to actually do a whole lot of killing. I feel like these guys are mostly here to help distract the boss while you swing around to cut off his tail. Solaire will almost for surely die during this fight unless you manage to dispose of the dragon fast. But don't worry, because him dying really isn't the end of the world. He's basically just a super great punching bag. Now it's time to head through the fog gate so you can put down this gruesome beastie. The first thing you're going to want to do is to get around to the boss's tail and cut it off to acquire the Dragon King's Great Axe, which is one of the weapons required for the Knight's Honor Trophy achievement. Must have been the monkey tail! Dragon's tail. You do know the difference between a monkey and a dragon, right, Darren?
Yeah, monkeys eat bananas and climb trees, but that thing could eat the monkey in the tree and probably the tree too.
Yep. Moving on. So this fight can be a bit grueling depending on your stats and class, but really, that's just every boss in Dark Souls. So the key to winning is to knowing this guy's moves and weaknesses going into this fight. Dragons are weak to lightning. That's why there's like a million lightning bolts being thrown at the everlasting dragons in the beginning scene. That Gwyn was no fool, so if you have some gold pine resin, I'd use it. I don't recommend attacking this guy from the front since like 90% of his attacks are based on you being right in front of him. If he's upright, he can grab you and take some bites out of your undead face for a solid chunk of damage. And also, he just uses his tiny little arms and legs to swipe at you. The best location for getting some safe-ish damage is near his rear leg / the base of his tail. Plus, without his tail, because you chopped it off earlier, his main attack in the back is nerfed and he'll just try and turn to face you or fly up, which is pretty easy to avoid. So like I've been saying this whole video, first off you want to try and cut off this guy's tail, but make sure you watch out for that tail swipe for high damage in the process, but once it's gone, it's basically just him wiggling his butt. If he's upright, the boss can try to smash down his head on top of you. Once he's in the prone position, he's usually going to try to charge at you, mostly in a straight line though. So you should be able to just avoid the attack by strafing to the left or right once he's down on all fours. 6s? How many legs does he have? Throughout the fight, he will try to reposition himself by flying into the air and smashing down on top of you. Just running away in any direction should get you far enough. And finally, that great big mouth can release a great big amount of acid, which will severely damage your equipment. So if he gets all vomity, you gotta run away ASAP. It's got a long reach, so if you see him start to spew, you're going to want to run as far away and as fast as you can. But make sure you don't run off the back of the boss arena into the pit that he climbed out of at the beginning, because that would just be embarrassing. So after he's a dead dragon, he'll drop the Blighttown Key, a Humanity, and a Homeward Bone. So yeah, you can travel down to the Poison Hell Swamp and fight the Spider Lady. Enjoy! Thank you everyone for watching today's episode of Boss Battle. I'm super curious to know what everyone's favorite bosses in Dark Souls are. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd also love to hear which bosses you'd like to see featured in future episodes. If the spirit moves you, it would be amazing if you subscribed to the channel, liked it, and shared with your friends, so you can be alerted when the next episode is up, because it's going to be a good old classic supernatural event. And if anyone gets that, I'm honest, I'm going to be amazed. But thank you again, and I'll see you on the next boss battle.
About bosses and about battling bosses.
It's about bosses, Aaron!